This is the front mess speaking.
Just kidding, it's me under the costume.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the darkest rock and metal iceberg. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. But yeah, looking back at part 1, I noticed that it got like 3,000 views, and I just want to say thank you so much for the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot to me. I cannot express how many views that video got, so I was wondering if we could do the same thing for this video. Can we? Yeah, we can. But yeah, basically, if you haven't seen part 1 yet, you don't necessarily need to, but if you want, you can go ahead and check out that video after this video. So basically, when Iceberg is a template, right? So basically, I'm just going to be going down through the tiers, and each one gets more dark and more, worse every time that the list goes on. So I'll put up a picture right now. As you can see in the image right there, this is the tiers that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, just keep on watching. Anyways, enough chatter. Let's go ahead and get started with the video. The tip: Rage Against the Machine's People of the Sun. The song is written in dedication to the original inhabitants of Mexico, who were slaughtered and conquered by Spanish conquistadors. Additionally, Zach De La Rocha, lead vocalist of Rage and a Mexican-American himself, calls for the Mexican people to reclaim their proud heritage and prosper, as they now have the means to do so. It is likely inspired by the Zapatista movement in Chiapas, Mexico. Ozzy Osbourne bites back. Now, I do want to say rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne, who passed away this year. And yeah, it's just crazy to me that a living legend in the rock and metal genre just passed away. So yeah, rest in peace. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about his topic. On January 20th, 1982, a fan threw a bat onto the stage during a concert in Des Moines, Iowa. Osbourne, mistaking it for a rubber prop, bit the bat's head off. He quickly realized the mistake and was rushed to the hospital for painful rabies shots as a precaution. The incident became a legendary and infamous moment in rock history, solidifying his Prince of Darkness persona, though Osbourne later expressed regret over the event. Woodstock 99. Woodstock 99 was a 3-day music festival held in Rome, New York, from July 23rd to 25th, 1999, which devolved into chaos, destruction, and violence. The event, which aimed to celebrate the spirit of the original 1969 festival, was plagued by factors including sweltering heat, overpriced food and water, inadequate sanitation, and a corporate focus. These issues, coupled with aggressive music of some performers like Limp Bizkit and growing crowd frustration, led to riots, looting, vandalism, and sexual assaults, accumulating in significant damage and the loss of life. Backmasking and satanic messages. Backmasking is a recording technique involving putting a hidden message into a song that's only audible when played backward. And the claims that these messages are used to convey satanic messages was a major part of the satanic panic of the 1980s. While artists like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin experimented with backmasking, and some groups like Styx even used it satirically, most musicians deny using it for satanic purposes. The concept of subliminal messages via backmasking has been largely discredited, though the human tendency to find patterns in sounds, a psychological phenomenon called pareidolia, contributes to the perception of backward messages. Paul Gray's death. On May 24, 2010, the Des Moines Register reported that Gray was found dead in room 431 at the Town Place Suites in Urbandale, Iowa, at about 10:50 a.m. local time. He was 38 years old. On June 21, 2010, the autopsy results showed that Gray had died of an overdose of morphine and fentanyl, and that he also developed substantial heart disease. The autopsy also revealed traces of the anti-anxiety pill Xanax in his system. In tribute to him, lead singer Corey Taylor got a tattoo of Gray and his number on the back of his left leg, which was documented in the television series NY Inc. during the second episode of season 1.
I didn't realize how much I was sitting on until, it was almost over, and I lost it hard, and I just let it come.
I miss him so much. I know you do. I know. But he's always with me. I miss him so much. I just wish he was here. He is here. He's always with you. He's always here.
Deathcore. Now, I know a lot of you were pretty upset about the fact that I put deathcore at the very bottom of the iceberg in part 1, so I'm very sorry about that. Most of it was my fault. I did not do enough research on the topic, so yeah, I'll go ahead and use the clip from part 1 to this video, so that way I don't have to repeat the same information. So yeah, here's the clip. Deathcore is an extreme metal subgenre that combines death metal with metalcore. The genre consists of death metal guitar riffs, blast beats, and metalcore breakdowns. The genre emerged in the early 2000s and gained popularity in the mid-2000s in southwestern United States, particularly Arizona and inland Southern California. Notable bands include Despised Icon, The Red Chord, Shadow of Intent, Elysia, Impending Doom, Thyard is Murder, Lorna Shore, and Oceano. Alright, cool. Let's move on to the next tier. The Body, Dimebag Darrell. On December 8th, 2004, 4 people were murdered and 3 others were wounded in a mass shooting at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio, United States. The main target of the attack was Dimebag Darrell Abbott, who was on stage performing with his band Damage Plan at the time of the shooting. During the opening song, a 25-year-old man who goes by the name of Nathan Gale rushed the stage and fired several of his guns multiple times, killing Abbott. 3 minutes later, Gale was shot and killed by police officer James Nagmeyer. Mark Morin's Cross-Off music video. Mark Morin Cross-Off music video portrays a man fighting an invisible force, which is a metaphor for mental illness and inner turmoil. There are also cutaways to a microphone with no one standing behind it. They wanted to include Chester Bennington, but he died on July 20th, 2017. Cross-Off is the first track off of Mark Morin's Anesthetic, released in 2019. Beartooth's Bean and Lips. The song Bean and Lips was released by the band Beartooth in their first album, Disgusting. The term bean and lips is a metaphor for experiencing abuse, with the lyrics encouraging victims to remain resilient and proud. The song is a staunchy anti-authoritarian attack about combating abuse and the negative forces that try to silence people, as explained by Caleb Shomo in an interview. Paul is Dead. The term Paul is Dead is an urban legend and conspiracy theory alleging that English musician Paul McCartney of the Beatles died in 1966 and was secretly replaced by a look-alike. The rumor began circulating in 1966, gaining broad popularity in September 1969, following reports on American college campuses. According to the theory, McCartney died in a car crash, and to spare the public from grief, the surviving Beatles, aided by Britain's MI5, replaced him with a McCartney look-alike, subsequently communicating this secret through subtle details of their albums. Proponents perceived clues among elements of Beatles songs and cover artwork. Clue hunting proved infectious, and by October 1969, had become an international phenomenon. However, rumors declined after Life published an interview with McCartney in November 1969. Avril Lavigne replaced. The conspiracy theory alleges the real Avril Lavigne died shortly after the release of her debut album, Let Go, due to the pressures of fame and the death of her grandfather. The hoax first appears online on a Brazilian fan page where it claims a lookalike named Melissa was hired by Lavigne's record label to replace her. The Brazilian fan blog, Avril está morta, Avril is dead, formalizes the conspiracy theory, leading to wider internet discussions. The blog's creator admitted it was a hoax designed to show how easily such theories could spread. The theory gained significant traction in the US after a BuzzFeed reporter writes about it. The hoax spreads rapidly on Twitter, with a viral thread pointing out supposed inconsistencies in the singer's appearance and handwriting. In 2024, Lavigne publicly addressed the rumor again on the Call Her Daddy podcast, calling it so dumb and funny.
I mean, it's just funny to me. Like on one end, everyone's like, oh my god, you look the exact same. You haven't aged a day. But then other people are like, you know, there's a conspiracy theory that I'm not me.
There is a...
Cool. Honestly, it's not that bad. It could be worse, right? Like, I feel like I got a good one.
But is it... Okay.
I don't think it's like negative. I'm doing like creepy. So it's like...
Avril, this conspiracy theory about you is a little creepy. Come on.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be worse.
It could? Yeah. It
Yeah.
could. No, you could be getting like online books.
Obviously, I am me. It's so dumb.
My Chemical Romance stealing. My Chemical Romance fired their touring drummer, Michael Petticone, in September 2011 for allegedly stealing from the band, an incident that occurred after a show in Auburn, Washington. Petticone confessed to the police after being caught, and while the band had no intention of pressing charges, guitarist Frank Iero announced the termination of the drummer's role with the band. Abyss, Creep by Radiohead. Creep by Radiohead describes feelings of intense self-loathing, insecurity, and social alienation experienced by an outsider who fixates on a more perfect individual. The song is a blend of being autobiographical, rooted in frontman Tom York's own feelings of inadequacy, and explores the internal struggle of being attracted to someone while feeling undeserving and entirely out of place in their world. The narrator's yearning to belong clashes with self-identification as an outsider, leading to obsessive and self-destructive thoughts. Kurt Cobain's Ren and Stimpy. An unverified story that Kurt Cobain once visited the Spumco animation studio and offered to write a song for the Ren and Stimpy show in the early 1990s, but the song was rejected. While Billy West, Stimpy's voice actor, claimed this happened in 2011, he later stated the rumor was false in 2022, and the animation's creator, John Krafalski, has no recollection of the event. It is highly unlikely that Kurt Cobain ever wrote a song for the show.
I used to hang out at Spumco when I was in college. I just started hanging out there and became friends with Vince Waller. And
that was on Melrose Ave.
It was on Melrose Ave in this shitty little building right near Paramount.
That's where we recorded all that stuff.
And it was just a very sterile sign that just said Spumco on it. And I used to hang out there because I wanted to. I mean, I was.
You were lucky he let you stay there. One day the scraggly kid comes in and said he wanted to write a song for Ren and Stimpy, and they said, yeah, that's great, and they threw it in the wastebasket. Oh. It was Kurt Cobain.
Oh, shit!
That's an awesome story!
Yeah, I think John was like, who does this guy think he is? Who are all these people think they are coming in here?
It's probably why he shot himself.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, I had...
Kurt Kaboom.
Nine Inch Nails and Sharon Tate. Nine Inch Nails frontman Trent Reznor purchased a house at 150 CeeLo Drive, the site of the 1969 Manson family murders of Sharon Tate and others, and used it as a recording studio for the 1992 Broken EP and the 1994 album The Downward Spiral. The unsettling atmosphere of the house was a significant influence on the music created there. However, Reznor claimed that he did not choose the home based on its history, but rather its appearance, and didn't know the murders until a few days after moving in. Nothing Left lyric video. Now, I know Suicide Boys are a hip-hop duo from the New Orleans, so that does not mean that their EP, Live Fast, Die Whenever, released in 2019 with, the collaboration of Travis Barker, does not make it an exception. So, yeah, it has a mix of rock and rap, so I decided to include that in there. So, yeah. You guys can have your own interpretation if you want, but this is my video, so, yeah, I decided to include things. And yeah, you guys can also include things as well, but yeah, just keep in mind that I just see this EP as a rock, not album, but like an extended play of a rock, of the rock genre. So yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the topic. Nothing Left is a song that was released by Suicide Boys and Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker. The EP was titled Live Fast, Die Whenever, was released in 2019. The lyric video shows actual footage of dead bodies recorded inside the Heaven's Gate home, along with the footage of 918 bodies in Jonestown on November 18th, 1978. Ice Nine Kills vs. Disney. Ice Nine Kills was banned from a Disney-owned House of Blues venue in Orlando 2019 because Disney deemed the band's violent imagery and overall aesthetic to be inconsistent with its moral and ethical code, with the band's name and song titles reportedly also raising a red flag for the company. The band responded by creating a successful merchandise line featuring Disney characters in horror scenarios, turning the band into a humorous PR opportunity. Mikey Welsh. Michael Edward Welsh was an American artist and musician who played bass for several bands, including the rock band Weezer. He joined the band after Matt Sharp left Weezer. He played with them from the time that they unofficially regrouped in 1998 until August 2001, when he experienced mental health problems. Shortly afterwards, he retired from music to focus on his art career. He then died on October 8, 2011 from drug overdose. Altamont concert murder. Meredith Curley Hunter Jr. was an American man who was killed at the 1969 Altamont Free concert. During the performance by the Rolling Stones, Hunter approached the stage and was violently driven off by members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, who were providing security and had agreed to stop members of the audience from mounting the stage. He subsequently returned to the stage area, drew a revolver, and was stabbed and beaten to death by Hells Angels member Alan Passaro. The incident was caught on camera and became a central scene in the Maysles Brothers 1970 documentary, Gimme Shelter. Following 17 days of testimony, an 8-man, 4-woman jury deliberated for 12 and a half hours before Passaro was acquitted on grounds of self-defense. Dark Abyss, Alice in Chains controversy. Alice in Chains is a popular band that was formed in 1987. However, they tend to suffer some controversies. Frontman Lane Staley has suffered from drug addiction, which caused him to be more reclusive and depressed. On April 17, 2002, Staley's mother, Nancy McCallum, went to his apartment to let him know about the death of Demir Parrott's brother, but there was no answer. However, on April 19, 2002, McCallum called 911 to say that she had not heard from him in about 2 weeks. She didn't enter the apartment with police and her ex-husband, Jim Elmer. It was reported that the 6-foot Staley weighed only 86 pounds when his body was discovered. Staley's body was partially decomposed when he was found. Medical examiners had to identify the body by comparing dental records. The autopsy and toxicology reported on Staley's body revealed that he died from a mixture of heroin and cocaine. The autopsy also concluded that Staley died before 2 weeks his body was found, on April 5th. However, the band will continue to suffer more controversies such as using their COVID-19 relief grant funds for their business operations, while also soliciting GoFundMe donations for a sick roadie, which critics found inappropriate given their financial success. Hantarash Bulldozer Incident. Hantarash was a noise band created by Yamataka Ai in Osaka, Japan in 1983. The band will use a variety of unusual noise-making objects, including powered tools, drills, and heavy machinery. The band is known for their dangerous live shows such as Ai cutting a dead cat in half with a machete, strapping a circular saw to his back, and almost cutting his leg off. However, in 1985, after making his audience sign a waiver, Yamataka Ai drove a bulldozer through the side of the venue and proceeded to destroy the stage. He was about to nonchalantly throw a Molotov cocktail at the crowd when audience members stopped him. Seth Putnam. Seth Putnam was an American musician best known as the founder, frontman, and sole consistent member of the grindcore band Anal Cunt. His work was known for his high-pitched screamed vocals, with lyrics meant to shock or offend. On October 12, 2004, Putnam was hospitalized after ingesting a cocktail of crack cocaine, alcohol, and heroin, and 2 months' worth of Ambien sleeping pills. It has been reported that he spent the previous days contemplating suicide, though exact circumstances surrounding the drug overdose are vague. He was sent to Spalding Rehab before he woke up from his coma. He then died on June 11, 2011, with the cause of death being a suspected heart attack. Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry. These two definitely go hand in hand when it comes to their on again, off again beef with each other. So I'm gonna talk about Jerry Lee Lewis first, and then I'll talk about Chuck Berry next. And then afterwards, I'll talk about what's with their, intentions and, how are they, why are they beefing. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about them in this topic. Jerry Lee Lewis, otherwise known as The Killer, was an American singer, pianist, and songwriter who combined gospel and blues influence to create some of early rock and roll's most energetic singles. On December 12, 1957, his third marriage was to a 13-year-old Myra Gale Brown, his cousin, while he was at the age of 22. On September 29, 1976, Lewis fired a .357 Magnum at a Coke bottle in his bedroom. The bullet ricketed and accidentally hit bassist Butch Owens in the chest, but Owens survived. On November 23, 1976, Lewis was arrested outside of Elvis Presley's Graceland home for allegedly attempting to shoot him. Now the sidekick to this story is Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry, otherwise known as Charles Edward Anderson Berry, was an American singer, guitarist, and songwriter who pioneered rock and roll. Nicknamed the father of rock and roll, he refined and developed rhythm and blues into the major elements that made rock and roll distinctive with songs such as Maybelline. He committed crimes as a youth, most notably an armed robbery and stealing a car at gunpoint with friends in Kansas City in 1944, which resulted in his arrest and placement in a correctional facility for young men. They had a relationship characterized by rivalry and tension, though with some instances of camaraderie, including a mutual desire to be the main act, which famously led to Lewis setting his piano on fire in 1958 to upstage Berry. They also performed together at times, with Lewis even playing drums for Berry in the 1970s and Berry reportedly punching Lewis backstage after the use of the N-word. Phil Spector murder. Harvey Phillips Spector was an American record producer and songwriter who is best known for pioneering recording practices in the 1960s. He produced the Beatles' final album, Let It Be, which was released after the band had broken up. On the morning of February 3, 2003, American actress Lana Clarkson was found dead inside the Pyrenees Castle, the Alhambra, California mansion of record producer Phil Spector. In the early hours of that morning, Clarkson had met Spector while working at the House of Blues in Los Angeles. Spector was tried for the murder of Clarkson in 2007. On September 26 of that year, a mistrial was declared to a hung jury with 10 jurors of 12 favoring conviction. He was tried again for second-degree murder beginning on October 20th, 2008. On April 13, 2009, the jury found Spector guilty of murdering Clarkson. On May 29, 2009, he was sentenced to 19 years to life in state prison. Spector would then die in a prison hospital in January 2021. Sid Vicious' girlfriend. Sid Vicious' girlfriend was Nancy Spungen. She was the American girlfriend of the English musician and prominent figure in the 1970s punk rock scene. Spungen's body was found under the wash basin in the bathroom of their room at the Hotel Chelsea. She had suffered a stab wound to the abdomen. Vicious owned the knife that inflicted the injury, a Jaguar Wilderness K11 with a 5-inch blade. Press misreported the murder weapon as a different knife owned by Vicious, a 007 hunting knife. Vicious shared conflicting stories of the night Spungen died. He was immediately arrested, charged with second-degree murder, and released on $50,000 bail. Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins was a Welsh former singer who was best known for being the lead singer and frontman of the rock band Lost Prophets. In early 2008, his abuse and misconduct with children was reported to South Wales police. It included both sexual abuse and giving drugs to children, including cocaine. His former bandmates claimed that they were unaware of his conduct with children, as his drug use had begun to cause a heavy strain on his relationship with them. Watkins had requested his own private dressing room away from other 5 band members, where much of his abuse of children allegedly took place. Now, if you think that he was going to be arrested and just be done with it, no, it was not that easy. He was not just arrested, not just once, not twice, but 3 times. His first arrest was on June 2012 in connection with various drug charges. His second arrest was on November 4th for drug possession and a separate allegation that he possessed an obscene image of a child. His third arrest was on December 17, 2012, on another drug possession charge. During the search, officers discovered numerous indecent images of children stored on his computer. On December 19th, he was charged at Cadriff Magistrates Court with conspiracy to engage sexual activity with a 1-year-old girl. He was now currently serving a long-term prison sentence for a series of crimes that included the attempted rape of a baby. Ian Watkins died on October 11, 2025, after being stabbed in the neck during a prison attack. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I literally don't feel bad for him. Like, I just don't feel anything at all. Like, this type of person, like, let's be real here. The type of people who does this shit, like, they deserve it. Like, I don't give a fuck if they're human. So, yeah, he definitely deserved it. He definitely deserved it, so yeah. Good for him that he got killed in prison. Anyways, let's move on to the outro. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would really mean a lot to me. Follow my Instagram and join my Discord server. Both of the links will be in the description below, so if you want to go ahead and join those, you can. But other than that, leave a like on my video, comment, and share. Turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss any new video that I upload. And yeah, happy Halloween, guys, and I'll see you guys whenever I upload.